It's a lot going down with Prop 22, so I want to do this video for you. This video is made up of a video I did about a month ago, plus a video that I did during a live stream linked in with the World Economic Forum. So what you're going to hear is why Prop 22 went the way it went, because this has major impacts for the entire country. Watch this video, because the next live stream I do, we're going to go over this. We about to go in and have that. Because in 2021, Biden's White House said what? Illegal, undocumented immigrants on American soil have a legal right to work. I'm telling you, follow me on this one. California's in the picture. Undocumented illegals have a right to work in this country. It didn't say work as what? It didn't say work as an employer or as an independent contractor. Follow me on this one. Tony West is sitting over at Uber. He's legal. Hey, guess what? Biden just said undocumented illegals have a right to work in this country. Oh, they got a right to work? Yeah. So we can put them as independent contractors on Uber, Lyft, Doordash, Postmates, Spark. It didn't say a legal right to be employed. It said a legal right to work. So as long as Uber and Lyft don't pay any benefits for anybody who's not their employee, they can use anybody they want as a slave. I told you this is a little deeper than what most people are saying on these channels, because they just scratching the surface. Oh, Uber lost, scratch, scratch, little scratch on the surface. Stocks going down, scratch, scratch, little scratch on the surface. This is deeper than that. A lot of corporations, a lot of investors lost a lot of money during the pandemic. A lot of people lost money. How you going to get that money back? Drivers are too big of an expense. How many times we heard Uber say that? Drivers are too big of an expense. So how do you cut out drivers out of the expense if they're too big of an expense? Get cheaper drivers in. How are we going to get cheaper drivers in? These Americans, man, cost of living is going up in America. Rent's going up. Everything's going up in America. Let undocumented illegals in. Well, once they're here, they don't have a right to work. Biden's like, we'll take care of that. You let us handle that. We're working on law right now to give all the undocumented illegals you want in this country to help you guys get your corporate profits back. We screwed up, but we're going to help you guys get your profits back. Well, what about the Americans? What about them? Fuck them. This is how we do business. We're going to get all these countries to send us all the people that they don't want. All the people who can't get good jobs in their country. All the people who can't do rideshare in their country, delivery in their country, independently contract in their country. We're going to have them do it here for much cheaper. Uber's like, if we call these people employees one day, we're going to be liable for pensions of all these people, employee benefits such as health care, retirement. We're going to owe a lot of money for these people who we just got kind of visiting, you know what I'm saying? Oh, don't worry, we're going to take care of that. We're going to make sure they stay as independent contractors. Well, we're going to still want to treat them as employees, though. We want them to come over here and work. We don't want them to come over here and undermine the system, start doing private rides, cash rides. We don't want them to undermine the system and truly being independent. Well, don't tell them that they're true independent contractors. You ain't got to go that far. Don't tell them. All you do is tell them you can come over here and work for us. That's all you need to tell them. You can rent cars. We'll help you guys get phones, give you free phones so you can get technology. We'll do whatever it takes to get you guys over here to work. We'll even pay the phone bills. Just download all the apps. Make sure you guys are ready to work. We got you covered. See, this whole California thing is a lot deeper than just California. This is nationwide. Because once Supreme Court start ruling these people are employees, Uber and Lyft is going to be like, this kind of backfired. The White House promised us that we was going to be able to lead these people as independent contractors because it gave them a right to work, not a right to be employed, but a right to work. And we got these people working. Well, what about the Americans? They want benefits. America wants them in equity in this country. We ain't trying to get no Americans, no equity in this country. We're trying to get everybody's wealth transferred out of their pockets, out of their bank accounts, out of their savings into corporate coffers because we screwed up royally. We owe a lot of people a lot of money we don't got. So we need to come up with money fast. Slavery. Slavery is the quickest way to make profits. Always has been. Don't be scared to say it. It's always been the quickest way to profits. Why do you think there was a Civil War fought? Why do you think people bled over slaves? They didn't care about them people. We fighting to keep our slaves. Why? Because you love them? Because you want to hang out with them? No, Because they're your source of profitability. That's why you fought so hard to keep slaves on your plantation. We're saying, how are people moving money away from American banks and using our US dollars, getting it out of our US dollar system, out of our banking system, into their country's banking system? And that is the transfer of wealth that people were talking about. The transfer of wealth can only happen. And even the WEF, the World Economic Forum, was giving immigrants the funding to get from point A to point B. The WEF funded. I mean, you can look at how the WEF helped immigrants get to America.
As a federal government, the conversations have been a lot of different conversations here, from workforce development to job training to skilling up. I've had a chance to talk to the minister from India, the minister from Italy, companies, things like that.
And are you finding that the challenges that they're having are similar to the challenges we have in the United States?
Yeah, a lot of them are similar. A lot of them are a little different. When you talk about inflation, obviously in the European countries, it's in double digits, it's higher, and they're asking, what do you do in the United States bringing the inflation down? We're talking about, in India, they're talking about education and looking and reimagining K-12 education and bringing that back to Secretary Cardona. And so it's really a lot of those conversations and talking to a lot of companies about, companies that are working in the United States, what they need, and asking them, what can we do better as a government? What can we do better as the Labor Department, Commerce Department, and working with my colleagues in the cabinet?
So you hear they're saying the U.S. government, I'm gonna find that, Billy, I'm gonna find that. So he's saying that corporations in America are asking the U.S. government, they're going back and forth saying, what can we do as a government to help you guys be more profitable? And this is why this whole thing is talking about, immigration, inflation, and the economy. And U.S. corporations are like, we're paying too much for labor. We're paying way too much. These Americans want too much money. What can you do? They're at the World Economic Forum saying, well, we need to get immigrants from other nations who don't pay people as much. Let them come to America. We pay them less, kind of price Americans out of a job. And that's basically how we sustain ourselves as profitable corporations on American soil. We have to outsource our labor.
What are they telling you? Sorry.
No, they really, I think a lot of them are very happy with the relationship between commerce and labor, and they've never seen that before. And myself and Secretary Raimondo and our teams work closely together. And they're saying this is very different of a feel in government. It's usually commerce over here, labor over there, and having the two of us together working, thinking about the future of work and getting people skilled up is really important.
So he's saying commerce and labor. So the Commerce Department is corporations and all of that, people who sell and buy and things like that. Labor is us. We're labor, human capital. So he's saying the Commerce and the Labor Department now, this was in 2023, just last year. And we've been complaining about this for a long time. It's too many immigrants over here. What the hell's going on? They're saying the Commerce Department is happy and the Labor Department is making them happy because the Labor Department is saying we're getting a lot of labor coming in now. This is really low skilled labor. And he says, well, we're training them up. We're training them up to make them. And how is Uber and Lyft helping? Remember when the rideshare guys, Sergio and these guys, remember when they always was making videos talking about, oh yeah, you see the new updates on Uber? You see the new updates on Lyft? Man, so easy to use now. Look, they even got pictures of the buildings you should be going to now. Like your ass don't live in that neighborhood. Oh man, they even got, they got arrows saying they got a people head here to let you know where the people are. They got this and that. I mean, they was pumping and promoting. The Roger guy basically was the roadmap for immigration. It's like, hey, if you want to know how to use the apps, just go to Roger guy. They telling you exactly how to use these new apps now. They're telling you, you don't got to speak English. It's like, just go grab the fucking rideshare guy, pull up, and they'll show you everything. They're training you. The rideshare guy was an immigrant training channel for a while. We're going to train you immigrants on how to use the apps. I've never talked about the apps on my channel. Fuck them. All I say is this is how you get money out of them. You got to get surge. You got to do small trips. You can't be played. You can't be this. You can't be that. Know your worth. Keep your value high. I've never trained nobody on how to use these apps over here. No, I train you how to make money through the technology these apps can help you with. And now we're doing it to the point where we're doing cash rides and stuff like that. So, but this guy's saying how commerce, which is corporate America, and the Labor Department have been working hand in hand in this current administration, allowing the border to be open because they're not worried about the border. The border is providing the labor they need. It's providing that capital of labor they need to come in and keep the profits at a certain point. Let me Let me let you keep playing. Hold on.
You're constantly traveling around, visiting businesses, and in large part, still creating jobs. Tesla, you name a lot of manufacturers creating jobs in this country. The vibe here is that we are near a recession, or some executives I've talked to, we are in a recession. Are you surprised by that, Tom?
Until you talk to, as we said off camera, until you talk to them one-on-one, and they're all like, "Oh, my business is great." I did have a meeting with one big corporation in this country, in America, today, and I asked him the question. I said, "What do you feel?" He said he didn't feel that we're headed towards a recession. He thinks that just this economy is very, it's a lot of, there's a lot of buzz around it because of the stock market, because of labor participation, because of inflation, and there's a lot of buzz. But he thinks that we're still going to continue into a strong 2023.
Now you see how he said labor participation. He didn't say immigration. He said labor participation. You got to watch the words of these tricky people. As soon as he asked him about that, he started going, "Oh yeah, it's kind of strong, is there that?" And there's been a buzz around it. It's been a buzz. He didn't answer direct. He just says there's been a buzz around it, not negative or positive. It's been a buzz. And he said labor participation. We know what labor participation is. What did I tell you? Go to the airport. Sounds like a fucking cattle auctioneer. Hey, but hey, sold to that motherfucker taking a piston stall 3. It's like, damn. It's like, what the fucking language are they speaking around? You don't know. This is why I'm like, he's saying labor participation. We're saying it's immigration. It's a bunch of people coming in who aren't even vetted to work here, working and participating into our labor market. These people know exactly what the fuck is going on.
This is from a business, not from...
Right. One of the things that we've talked to you consistently about is immigration in the U.S. and the importance of getting foreign workers into the United States. Have you been having conversations about that with some of the foreign leaders, for example,
immigration,
who are here, and what's their view on what should be maybe the free flow of labor across borders?
It came up today in a conversation, and when you think about immigration, and you think about other countries, in a lot of ways, the United States, we're at a disadvantage because other countries have ways to import immigrant workers into their countries for big tech jobs, for working in restaurants, and we don't have that pathway, at least a big enough of that pathway. And I think that, and I've said this on your show before, I think one of the biggest threats to our economy is not inflation, it's wage growth. It's lack of workers, and immigration reform is a key to that. And hopefully the Congress, the Senate, and the House can figure that out and do something on this bill.
He said it. He said everything we just been talking about. He said everything we just talking about. Did I not say, have we not on this channel been saying this shit? This guy's a part of the current administration. He's a part of the current Biden administration. And what did he just say? The biggest problem in America is wage growth. It's people are wanting too much money. That's the biggest problem. He said the biggest problem. I'm going to play this shit over again because I know we got slow motherfuckers on this channel once in a while. But he said the biggest problem is wage growth. That's the biggest problem. People are wanting too much money. And we don't have a path to getting immigration in here. That's what he said. We need a path to getting cheaper people who don't want that big wage growth in here. And we don't have that. Other countries got it. We can't compete with other countries until we allow other countries to come into our country and work for cheap. That's what he's saying with that part of this video, to show people how far ahead of the curve we are. We've been saying this for how long? They don't give a shit about Americans. They're looking for the replacement theory. I have been preaching replacement theory for over a year, saying it for over a year. Saying if they can just get rid of enough Americans, if they can figure a way how to, because it's funny how they were letting all these immigrants over here. They were telling Americans, you're not vaccinated. You can't work. You're not vaccinated. You can't do this. You're not vaccinated. But yet they were letting immigrants over here not even checking for vaccination records. Was COVID only an American problem? Was that what it is? But all these Americans are hurting and sick and everything else from that shit. And guess what happens? They got all this free labor coming in, this cheap labor coming in who never had vaccines. They never had COVID. Where these people come from? It's coming up through the border. Commerce Department is saying, hey, corporations are mad. He said commerce and labor have never been together tighter. He said that shit. And I'm going to clip that too. He said Commerce Department and the Labor Department have never been this close before in the history. If he's telling you to your face, the Commerce Department, which is corporations and business, have never been close to people who do labor laws, the labor law, because Americans deserve better wages, better wages, better wages. He's sitting in your face going, oh yeah, people are upset because commerce is being upset because we don't have a way to get immigrants over here to work because wages are being too high. They can't make good enough profits because wages are too high. And labor department is like, well, how about we just say, fuck the American workers. We'll bring a bunch of, immigrants in. He's saying, well, there's no pathway for it. They've been cutting through Mexico. What do you mean there's no pathway? It's a whole pathway. They cutting through Mexico. That is the pathway. Well, there's no path for it. Border czar. Kamala Harris was the border czar. This man done said everything we talking about. He said big tech. Is Uber big tech? Is Lyft big tech? Ask yourself, is Uber big tech and is Lyft big tech? This man says we need immigrants to come over to work big tech. Do immigrants work at Uber? Do they work at Lyft? All illegal, buying accounts, selling accounts. Has everything this dude just sat up here and said on it? I'm watching this shit with y'all. Has everything he said been something that we have talked about on this channel already? We've already discussed it on this channel already. Everything he's saying. And yet channels out there, no, we ain't got no immigration problem. No, immigrants are this or that. And I'm like, man, how you going to sit up and say that shit? How you going to say that this can't be about big tech? This can't be about Uber. This can't be about the presidency. This can't be about Tony West. This can't be about Kamala, the border czar, allowing the border to remain open. This can't be about the World Economic Forum paying all these immigrants to take this trip. Can't be about all these immigrants coming into America and commerce department and labor department now are operating hand in hand now. At a time in America when Americans are broker than ever before. We are more poor right now than ever before. We're more, broke, living on savings, living check to check more than ever before. But the Commerce Department, the Labor Department are now happy working together. And we've got a major influx of immigrants in this country who are not vetted, taking American money, taking American resources, sending it back to their country. You cannot tell me all of this shit is a coincidence. You can't tell me, and any American out there who don't see shit like this, who don't watch videos like this, who don't sit up there and understand politics like this, who think this shit is all about being the first Indian, the first black woman. Is that what you think this shit's about? That's what they play on, because they ain't telling you what black people don't read. They always say, if you don't want to tell a black person something, put it in the book. Y'all think I made that shit up? If you don't want a black person to know something, put it in the book. Black people don't like knowledge. We like clubs, alcohol, gun, rims, shoes. If you want a black person to know something, put it in the book. They say that shit all the time when I was growing up. And now it's still true to this day. Because I drop knowledge on shit. I tell people the truth about stuff. This is book knowledge right here. And yet motherfuckers say, I don't want to know about that. I just want to know if it's the first woman, first Indian, first black woman, first motherfucking AKA. Ski wig. Motherfucking shit. That's what they all about. That's what they want to do. They don't want to talk about what's real. This shit's real. These are the World Economic Forum people. These are people in charge of your money, in charge of your life, in charge of interest rates. Telling you, you guys want too much money in America. This is what he's saying. He's representing America. He's representing America. And this motherfucker saying, yeah, I'm talking to other countries. And yeah, we got expensive people there. We don't know. We got people in America who want too much. Wage growth is too much. This guy represents you in America. This is Biden's people right here. The American people want too much. So what we're going to do is get immigration going. We need immigration going.
Because of a podcast.
I think your podcast has changed my life.
And I'm going to share this podcast with everyone I meet.